Đem súng xuống. Toán đại kỳ rời vị trí hành lễ. Toán quốc kỳ rời vị trí hành lễ.
Nghi phúc chào cờ chấm dứt. Xin trân trọng kính mời quý vị an tọa. Và kính thưa quý vị, trong nghi thức chào cờ vừa qua, chúng tôi đã được sự đóng góp của hai dàn nhạc của hai trường trung học là Quinta và Bossa Grande. Trong giờ phút này, chúng tôi rất trân trọng để giới thiệu đến quý vị một vị khách mời của ban tổ chức. Ông nguyên là tùy viên quân sự Hoa Kỳ tại Việt Nam trong 6 năm cuối cùng, cho đến ngày 30 tháng 4 năm 1975. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite on the stage with our honor for him to be here today, Mr. Kerry Casembo.
Thank you. My fellow boat people, I also left Cantal on April 30th, 1975 in a boat from Cantal. 110,000 close friends, where we floated out to sea and were picked up by the U.S. Navy. Is there anyone here who came from Hong Kong or Macau in 1979 to 1982? Pleasure to see you again. I'm the man who interviewed you. It's a pleasure to be here and a real honor. Thank you very much.
I have a really quick question, and I just know that you speak Vietnamese very well.
40 years ago.
Oh, how about now?
Not now.
Not now? Well, then at this moment, I would like to have you share with us, for the 6 years that you're working in Vietnam,
Yes.
until the fall of Saigon in 1975, how do you feel? Your observations for the fighting of the South Vietnam soldier?
The South Vietnamese always fought very well. On April 30th in 1975, there were actually no fighting around Can Tha. And when I left, it was a very surreal feeling, because as our boat went down the river, there were soldiers and families eating lunch in restaurants. And everything was very, very strange, and that it was very, very ordinary. I don't know what happened after that date, but I do know that up to that date, the South Vietnamese soldiers always fought to the best of their ability and did the best they could. And I'm sure that in those final hours, there were many, many stories of heroism.
Do you personally have any experience with the soldiers that are working with you?
Yes.
That's unforgettable experience.
Well, there were many of them. In 1973, when the U.S. Army left, I was living in Kamau, way down south, and I was the only American there, so I had to depend entirely upon the South Vietnamese Army and occasionally Navy for protection, and they always did a fine job, otherwise I wouldn't be here right now. Many of them went on and came to this country and have been extremely successful, and I think that's based on the discipline and the hard work that they did as soldiers.
Thank you very much for being here with us today.
It's a pleasure, my honor.
And I would like to invite up on the stage with us today, Mr. Talbot Basho.
I start? First of all, I'd like to pay grateful thanks to Karina Huang, who not only suggested I should come to this gathering, but made all the arrangements for it, and to Kerry and Hazel Casaban, who've been looking after me since I arrived 4 or 5 days ago. This is a very emotional time for me, having spent 3.5 years day in and day out, witnessing some of the most ghastly events you ever can imagine. In fact, I'd like to read you, in part, the editorial of the Economist magazine, dated 21st of July, 1979. The sentiments are mine, but the words are that of the Economist. Economist.
Kính thưa quý vị, ông Talbot Marshall rất là xúc động để hiện diện trong ngày hôm nay cùng với chúng ta, và ông sẽ chia sẻ một bài viết từ chủ nhiệm của tuần báo Economist được viết vào ngày 21 tháng 7 năm 1979.
Headed Not Again, it reads, even by this bloody 20th century standards, the flight from Indochina will go down in history as a classic case of what governments gone mad can do to the people under their power. With 1 million living refugees since 1975, and maybe another 3 million to come, plus eventually ending up to 500,000 corpses in the South China Sea, the enforced exodus from Indochina already ranks at what the Ottoman government did to the Armenians, Hitler's to the Jews, and Stalin's to the Armenians, to the objects of Soviet displeasure. Indeed, I think it was the most ghastly event I've ever witnessed and endured. And if I appear to be becoming emotional, it is not only a geriatric one, but having witnessed the most ghastly events that you ever can imagine, day in and day out for 3.5 years, I think I may be excused. It's a pleasure to be here, and again, I must give sincere thanks to Karina Huang for not only suggesting I should come, but to arranging my fare and so on and so forth. And the same to Harry and Hazel Casadown for looking after me so well. Thank you very much.
Kính thưa quý vị, Ông Talbot Marshall đọc lại một bài viết của chủ bút tuần báo Economist. Trong những cuộc chiến đẫm máu của thế kỷ thứ 20, cuộc chiến tranh tại vùng Biển Đông đã đi vào lịch sử với những sự đau đớn trên bàn cờ quốc tế. Đặc biệt năm 1975, 1 triệu người đã bị thiệt mạng và có thể thêm 3 triệu người nữa. Hàng triệu xác chết đã ngã xuống, hàng triệu người đã nằm xuống ở nơi Biển Đông. Đã trở thành một trong những cuộc diệt chủng lớn nhất trong lịch sử mà ngay cả đế chế Thổ Nhĩ Kỳ và Hitler cũng không thể so sánh được. Và ông cũng cảm ơn ông bà Kezemum đã chăm sóc ông trong những ngày tháng vừa qua. Ông rất hân hạnh có mặt cùng với chúng ta trong ngày hôm nay. Sure you can.
May I just remark that when I took over this job as coordinator for the Hong Kong government, the boats were coming in at 300 or 400 persons per day. In the beginning of June 1979, it was increased to 1,000 a day. And on Sunday, the 10th of June 1979, 4,515 and 42 boats arrived. We were nearly overcome. But I'm very proud to say that we in Hong Kong never turned any boat away. We received them and looked after them as best we could for all those years. I'm very proud to say that I can sleep comfortably at night knowing that we perhaps saved quite a few lives by our actions.
Trong suốt thời gian làm việc tại trại tị nạn ở Hồng Kông vào từ thập niên 1979, ông đã phỏng vấn hàng ngày 400-500 người và có từ 4.000, 5.000 những thuyền nhân cập vào trại tị nạn ở Hồng Kông. Và ông rất hãnh diện rằng ông và những người làm việc của ông không bao giờ từ chối bất cứ một chuyến tàu của những người vượt biển đi tìm tự do. Và ông rất hãnh diện trong suốt thời gian làm việc, ông đã có cơ hội để cứu giúp cho những người thuyền nhân tị nạn Cộng sản Việt Nam. Thank you so much for being here. Would you like to have some more words?
Just one or two more, yes.
Okay.
I don't know how many of you remember a ship called Skyluck. Skyluck arrived in Hong Kong in February 1979 with 2,661 poor, under dreadful conditions. We had no accommodation for them, so we had to arrange to leave them on board till arrangements could be made. The fact that someone cut the anchor chain and the ship drifted ashore is just another story. Also another boat which arrived, and Ha Long Bay will not be lost on so many Vietnamese people. But a boat arrived in April 1979, and it was called Ha Long. It was built to hold 30 people, and it came with 5,750 on board. I actually went on board this boat, and the conditions were indescribable. These poor people, they were jammed in like sardines. In fact, I think sardines had more room than they did. These are just two events which I had to deal with. I'm very proud to stand here and again repeat that we in Hong Kong never turned any boats away. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you so much for being here with us today again.